In this video, we're going to break down Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis, and I'll be your guide on today's journey into the intricate parallels between Gregor Samsa from Metamorphosis and the transformative landscape of mental health. Hey everyone, this is Tuzia, your beginner artist but professional crybaby, and I'm going to talk about a novel that actually made me look at the perspective of mental illness in a completely different light. To briefly talk about the novel, The Metamorphosis is a novel written by Franz Kafka, which was published in 1915. The story revolves around Gregor Samsa, a traveling salesman who wakes up one morning to find himself transformed into a giant insect. Gregor's physical transformation shocks both himself and his family, leading to a series of events where he struggles to cope with his new form and the reaction of those around him. As the story unfolds, Gregor's family members grapple with their own reaction to his transformation, and Gregor himself faces increasing isolation and alienation. The novel explores themes of alienation, existentialism, and the absurdity of human existence. It is a deeply introspective work that delves into the psychological and emotional turmoil of its protagonist and his family. In today's video, we'll be working through different stages of the novel and compare it directly with the complexity of mental illness and existentialism. My voice in this video sounds like I have swallowed nails at this point, but I had a particularly fun weekend, so just bear with me. I would like to put a trigger warning that this video is dark and we'll be discussing multiple topics that will be hard to grapple or digest. Please proceed at your own discretion. So without further ado, let's get started. In Kafka's masterpiece, Gregor Samsa undergoes a profound physical transformation. Now, imagine this as a metaphor for the internal changes that occur in those facing mental health challenges. The feeling that greets Gregor Samsa initially is that of disorientation and horror. He grapples with the grotesque reality of his new form, unable to realize how he will adjust with the lifestyle. For people struggling with mental health, oftentimes they start realizing that there's something wrong with them, or they don't until they find themselves bedridden and fighting with the basics of tasks. The experience is only exasperated with the inevitability to communicate with the loved ones, the same way Gregor cannot make his family comprehend his state. Gregor's metamorphosis leads to isolation and misunderstanding. When he is discovered by his family members, they're disgusted and horrified with his appearance and they try to isolate him. This is a situation that individuals who are grappling with mental health issues often find themselves in, due to the societal stigma and the inability of the loved ones to understand their condition. What Gregor went through is terrifying, but he deserves empathy and kindness for the state he is in, and not a treatment that makes him more apparent about his disfigurement. Gregor's family struggles to understand his transformation as much as Gregor himself. Each family member shows their own set of reaction to his new lifestyle change, as one likes to call it. Gregor's mother is overwhelmed with shock and disbelief. She faints upon first seeing him as an insect and later avoids looking at him, struggling to reconcile the grotesque creature with her beloved son. Gregor's father, on the other hand, reacts with anger and hostility, seeing Gregor's transformation as a threat to the family's stability. He even hurt Gregor at some point with apples, wounding him severely, driven by fear and this desperate need to restore order in the house. Grete, his sister, initially shows compassion, bringing Gregor food and cleaning his home. However, her care becomes more dutiful with time rather than empathetic. As the burden grows, she becomes resentful and ultimately advocates for his removal, viewing him as a monstrous burden. But we will get to that later on in this video. In short, the change is hard for everyone to adjust to. The entire situation gets harder because Gregor is physically unable to communicate his thoughts and feelings. His voice becomes an unintelligible squeak, and his attempts to speak only frightens them further. His inability to express his thoughts and feelings deepens his isolation and despair. The profound sense of alienation that Gregor experiences is much like how individuals with mental health challenges may feel isolated from others who cannot fully grasp their internal struggles. Gregor's inability to tell his family about his situation shows the communication barrier people with mental issues often face. Before I start on this segment, I once would like to preface this by saying that this story does not get any better, and this might upset you the same way it upset me with the tragedy that unfolded, and just go at your own discretion. As the story continues, Gregor's physical and mental state just keeps on deteriorating. He becomes increasingly weak and injured, confined to the isolation of his room. The family's financial and emotional strains worsen, and the resentment towards Gregor also grows. The once loving household becomes a site of tension and hostility, reflecting how untreated mental illness can erode family bonds and create an environment of despair overall. Between Gregor's family's desperate attempt to make things normal in the house and the turmoil that the family faces to embrace the creature in their house as their son and their brother, we see a shift in the characters. Initially, Grete shows compassion, bringing Gregor food and cleaning his room. However, as the time passes, the emotional and physical burden of caring for Gregor strains her, leading to resentment. Eventually, Grete advocates for Gregor's removal, viewing him as a monstrous burden. The shift highlights how the responsibility of caring for someone with severe mental issues can lead to the caregiver burnout and strained family relationship. And while I understand that anyone who is in such a poor mental state already feels very much guilty that they're a burden to their loved ones, this novel simply highlights a reality. The reality of what happens when people aren't educated enough about mental health in order to deal with it in a healthy manner. The novel reaches its climax with Gregor's death. His passing is met with a sense of relief from his family, who quickly move on with their lives. This ending underscores the ultimate consequence of neglecting mental health, the loss of a loved one, and lingering impact on those left behind. It serves as a reminder for the need of compassion, understanding, and proper mental health support to those who are suffering from it. In Nepal, where I live, to this day, mental health isn't met with the openness that it should be received. I have come across many Gregor Samsas in my life that have gone through death, either physically or metaphorically, all because the people who are supposed to provide support to them are not educated enough, or they would just simply dismiss their struggles. But I also have come across a lot of phenomenal people who haven't given up on life and are glad that they didn't. Each story showed the tremendous strength of human resilience. They found comfort in therapy, support from loved ones, and passions. They emerged stronger after facing darkness, showing that recovery isn't straightforward. It's full of challenges and victories. It's about coping with uncertainty and finding peace and discovering inner strength within themselves. The point of this entire video is to shed light on what it will be like if we neglect mental health and well-being at the expense of conformity and self. You are more than what you can give to the society. You are more than what you can do for certain people or you are to certain people. Even within yourself, you are full, you are whole, and you are fulfilled. And in this day and age, it's kind of hard to believe that, but trust me, you should do it with all the strength you have in yourself. Gregor's transformation is a powerful metaphor for the internal struggles faced by those dealing with mental health challenges. As we conclude our exploration, I want to urge everyone to reflect on the strength it takes to navigate these kind of transformation and the importance of compassion and understanding in our collective journey towards mental well-being. If you like this video, do remember to sub and like it. I keep on going back and forth with trying to make silly videos and running laps through existentialism. But life is about duality, yin and yang, or some shit. Jokes aside, if you want to talk about books, any themes, mental health and things as such, the comment section is always open and you can take up the discussions on any platform as you want. With that, I bid farewell and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.